Connection terminated.
Hey guys, how's it going? Digiboard Gaming here. I'm back with a video for you guys. Yesterday I was able to compete in the November Play TCG's regional event. It was an Ultimate Cup at first, but from what I heard, they ran out of Ultimate Cup prizing and cards, so they just switched it to a regional instead. And I was trying to get my very last shot at my Nats invites, and clearly I didn't get it. I decided to play Blue Flare in this EX03 format, and for the most part, I did what I could with it. And let's just go through these rounds real quick. So it was 8 rounds. I stuck it to the end. It's because I had like little to no sleep because I got off of work at 6 in the morning and the event started at 7:30. So at least for the most part, I was able to eat some good tamales that my wife made. And, you know, I used that to go and push through. So the first round I felt pretty good because I went up against Metal Groomon X and I 2-0'd the guy, which is, you know, it's not unlikely to happen, but you know, it's Metal Groomon X. It's one of the best decks in the format. I mean, I feel it is the best deck in the format, I would say. Not in this event though, because Security won. Security Control won this. And in the finals, it was up against Alphamon. I'm kind of interested in what that Alphamon list looks like because it's Alphamon, you know? It's like, what the fuck? So, that was the first round. Second round, I went up against Armor Rush. I got to game 3 on that one and just lost it by, literally by a memory. So, that kind of sucked. If I had a Death X in here, I would have definitely beaten that guy because he had way too many Tamers on the board and just fully went in and extended the board out. So I had to, you know, deal with that. That was second round. Third round, I went up against Beelstormon. Got to game 3 and I barely managed to get it in because I froze all his Beelstars and stuff. So, you know, that's that. The fourth round, I went up against another armor deck. I got 2-0'd by that one this time around. And then the fifth round was against another Metal Groomon X. Got 2-0'd by that one. So it kind of made the first round seem pointless. Or maybe it was just luck. I don't know. And so that was the fifth round. The sixth round was up against Blue Hybrid, out of all things. I thought it was going to be a mirror match because when he hatched his egg, he had this. Some people play the Kusarimon egg. So he kind of faked me out. But we got to game 3, and then he just went hybrid for game, like always. That's what hybrid does. So that was the 6th round. The 7th round, I went up against Wargreymon X, which was, you know, a nice change at least. But nevertheless, it's still an X deck, an X antibody deck. I 2-0'd that one, so I felt pretty good about that one. And then last but not least, for the 8th round, was against the last Metal Groomon X deck. And I got 2-0'd by that one, which is not fun. It just seemed like she had everything she needed to beat me, and she did. So, do what you can with that. I'm just gonna go over my deck real quick and my choices. So, alright guys, so I'm trying out something new here. And just show you guys an overview of the deck before I break it down for you guys. In the case you guys just want to see the deck list like how it is, as it is. And, you know, either way, I'm still going to break it down. So, hopefully this helps you guys. For the first egg, we're playing 1 Baby Digimon. Just, you know, it's your 5th egg. And as long as your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, you draw a card when you swing in. And then the standby, the 4 Upamons. You know, your opponent has something on the board without a Digi-Evolution. You swing, you draw. This is your main egg. Alright, so now we're going to start with the eggs here. So, first 4 eggs we're playing here is the 4 Gossomon. On deletion, you play a level 4 Digimon card with Blue Flare and its traits from your hand suspended without playing its play cost. So, literally, this card brings out your level 4s for free. And that's when you swing and, you know, chip away at the stack. Or at a Digimon if you need to. But more often than not, I'd rather swing at the stack. So, there will be times where he does live and you have to just deal with it. But for the most part, this is a definite 4-up. playing 3 Madoki Betamon. Madoki Betamon is just the floodgate. Stops my opponent. It stopped a lot of my opponents from gaining memory with using their memory boosts. So I never felt like I needed a 4th one, to be honest. But you know, 3 is good, and that's all you really need. I decided to play 2 of this Vmon. It has jamming, and you guys seen it in other decks. It's just a really good rookie, and for the most part, it did do its job. So I think I'll just keep it at 2 here. And then last but not least, I am playing 3 Jellymon. So Jellymon, I'm playing an option that works pretty damn well with it, which is Starling Thunder. And I'll explain to you guys when I get to it in the video. But for the most part, your turn, once per turn, when you play Blue Tamer, you draw a card. If your opponent is attacking you and its security check happens to be a Tamer, you don't get to draw, because obviously it's not your turn. So that's the only drawback to that one inheritable there. And then also the other inheritable is once per turn, when an effect adds a card to your hand, return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to its owner's hand. So I was actually able to pull this off and bounce back a Psychmon, so I was able to Digicross again by playing Blazing Memory Boost, because it adds cards to your hand. And I had a Digimon on top of this, so the inheritable kicked in and it worked out pretty well. The best optimal combo is that you get the Blazing Memory Boost off, and then you get a Kihira as well. So, you know, you get 2 cards, Kihira, and then you get to bounce level 3. So, or sometimes you'll just draw a card if you happen to just have a regular Jelly on the board. So that's pretty damn good. And that's it for the rookie. There's 12 of them. So we got 14 champions here. I'm playing 2 Greymons from the structure deck. It just gives you security +1, and Metal Greymon requires any Greymon underneath it as a Digicross material. So I feel like this is the best one. I don't think I needed a 3rd one, to be honest with you guys, but you know, 2 is pretty good. It gives you more swings in at the security. So that was the 1 red Greymon, and we're also playing 4 of the blue Flare Greymon here. This Greymon is pretty clutch. It helps you recover Metal Greymons if you have a Kihira in play, and then also you reveal the top 4, and then you add any 2 cards with blue Flare in them. Put the rest at the bottom. And then its inheritable is when it really helps. So if the Digimon has blue Flare in its traits, and your opponent has 2 more Digimon in play, you unsuspend this Digimon. So more often than not, if you get the Metal Greymon with this underneath and the Metal Birdramon, you should be able to get 2 swings in at least. So that's that. And it's a 4 cost to hard drop, so it's not too much for a champion. It's pretty fair, in my opinion. Then we got 4 Decadramon. Decadramon is just really nuts, especially when you get to have your Gosamon die and then bring this out. And especially even more so when your opponent has more than 2 Digimon on the board. Because, so let's say he has 2 Digimon on the board, just as an example. Your Gosamon swings in, it dies, it pulls this out from your hand. On play, you draw 1. And then you draw 1 for each Digimon your opponent has in play. So essentially, you're drawing 3 cards just for dropping 1, and you're chipping away at the stack. And then assuming that he has something with no source underneath, you're also getting a draw for the Upamon. So that's 4 draws in total. That's, you know, that's if the situation is correct. So that's pretty good right there. And then the last champion we got here is Melbirdramon. So on play, if you have a Kihira in play, you may recover a Metal Greymon from your trash to your hand. If you don't have a Kihira in play, you may play a Kihira from hand without paying its memory cost, or play cost, I'm sorry. And then on deletion, it has save, so you can place this underneath one of your Tamers. That is pretty good for a level 4. It's slightly higher than the Greymon, but just think about it this way. You're hard dropping 5 for this, especially if you don't have a Tamer, and it plays the Tamer for free. Next turn, you're going to go to 3 regardless. So that's a pretty good payoff in my opinion. And then its inheritable is if this Digimon has blue Flare in its traits and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, one of your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. So in line with the Greymon and the Metal Grey, after you drop it, you should be standing a whole board, especially if you have this underneath. So that is that for the champions. And then we're going to go into our ultimates here. And the first 4 is Metal Greymon. So this has Material Save 2. It can Digivolve on top of level 4 for 4. And its on-play effect is if this Digimon gains Rush for the turn, if Digicrossing 3 of your opponent's Digimon with Digi-Evolution cards less than or equal to this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards can attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. And his Digi-Cross requirement is a Greymon and a male Bergermon. So you're playing 4 male Bergermons and you're playing 6 Greymons in here. So you have a pretty good chance of dropping this pretty consistently. And that's it for that. And the last ultimate we're playing is 3 Decker Greymon. So this card right here is pretty damn good for one reason, mainly. It has Armor Purge, which just throws people off. And then on play, when Digivolving, either one. So you may place one Digimon card with blue flare and its traits from your hand under one of your tamer, or from under one of your tamers, under this Digimon's bottom Digi-Evolution card. Then, if Decadramon is in this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon can attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. So, regardless whether you're Digivolving or hard dropping it or Digi-Crossing for this, you're going to stun something as long as you have a Decadramon underneath it. Also, it Digivolves on top of the Metal Greymon for 2, which is pretty nifty, and it has 10,000 attack. If you have a Decker underneath it, it makes it 11. And his requirements for Digi-Crossing here is 1 Decadramon and a Metal Greymon. You're playing 4 of each, so this isn't something that's impossible to go into, even if you want to Digi-Cross for it. But more often than not, you want to just Digivolve for this. So that's that. And that's it for the Digimon. So now we're going to get into the Tamers. I'm playing 2 Sora Joe here. I feel like Sora Joe's really good in here. It helps you do what the deck wants to do, which is strip sources and stun things without the sources. It gives you 2 extra memory at the start of your turn if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digi-Evolution cards. Also, like I said, when you attack with the blue Digimon, you may suspend the Tamer to trash up to 2 Digi-Evolution cards from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. I've seen people opt this out and play the map from BT1. And it's good, but this is better, especially in the mirror. Not that I went up against any mirror, but even against Armor Rush, it was helping me a lot because I was just stripping the sources from the Magna X's and stuff like that. So, Sora Joe, really good. I wouldn't take it out. And then last but not least for the Tamers, we're playing 4 Kihira. Kihira is your main Tamer. It sets you to 3. If you would play a Digimon with Digi-Cross requirements, you can suspend him or any Tamer. Oh no, yeah, you suspend him. And then you place cards from under your Tamers as Digi-Evolution cards for a Digi-Cross. So that is pretty good. And also, you want to max it out so that when you play Blazing Memory Boost, you want to see that in the top 6 cards that it searches out. That way you get to play it for free. So, Kihira, good at 4. And that's it for the Tamers. We're only playing 6. Let me get into the options now. First options we're playing here is 2 Hammer Spark. Hammer Spark is a Hammer Spark. I kind of wish I could play 3, but it's kind of tight as it is. So I don't know what I would take out to play a 3rd one. But 2 seems to get the job done. Playing the 1 Ice Wall. It's at 1 for a reason, so we're going to play it. And it's a really good blue card as well. And now this is the card I was talking about earlier, Starling Thunder. So I was able to win a game against Beelstar because of this card. So what the situation was is he had a Eismon and he had his own tamer. I forgot what his name is. The tamer that belongs to this Jellymon. I forgot his name. Anyways, so he had the tamer that says him to 3 and he had an Eismon, right? All I had was a Jellymon and I was at 3. So I was able to choke him out by playing this at 4. And what this does is you return one of your opponent's level 4 lower Digimon to its owner's hand. Then if you have a Digimon with Jellymon in its name or with Jellymon in its Digi-Evolution cards, return one of your opponent's Tamers to its hand. So I bounced back the Eismon and at the same time I bounced back this Tamer, leaving them at 1. So that was really what I needed to do to win that game, and this card really helped. I used to have this at 2, but I dropped it to 1 because I felt like this other card was more necessary than this. This is just a niche card to have in here because I have the Jellymons, but for the most part, it gets the job done. And I had the 2 Starling Thunders, but I took out the second one so I can add a second one of these. And this card, like I gotta say, this card has helped me out a lot too. And I wish I could play this at 3, but I don't know. I like the Starling Thunder. Normally, players play 3 copies of this card, but I feel 2 is good enough as well. So Sora just strips 4 underneath, and then anything without a source can't attack But if they Digivolve on top of those sources or those cards, then they can attack. So there's ways around it. That's why I only play the 2. And then we're playing 5 Blazing Memory Boost. So this is just the Memory Boost card, but at the same time it's not, because it reveals the top 6. And then you add 2 cards with blue flare among them to your hand. And then you may play 1 Kihira from among the cards. And then that's basically it. It's just a lot to pay for because it's a 5 cost. But, you know, think of it this way. So you start the turn. You say you're going first. You pay 5 for this. You're going to add 2 blue flares. And assuming there's a Kihira in there, you're going to play the Kihira. So for a cost of 5, you're going to add 2 cards and then set up your Memory Tamer. That sets you to 3. Then the next turn comes around, you go straight to 3 regardless because you have the Tamer, and then you still have this on the board, so you can go straight to 5. And then that's pretty much it. This card is just really, really good in this deck, and it's a definite 4-up. So do what you can with that knowledge. And then the last option we're running is 1 Kakaya's Breath. Kakaya's Breath just got me some games that I didn't think I would win, and even if I had a hard play, it doesn't matter. This card's just really good. So that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and then I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.